Let's just start with a really big question, okay? Have you ever, really, stopped to think, what is your place in the universe? Not just here on Earth, but in the whole cosmic shebang.
You know, our whole sense of where we are starts really, really small. Our very first universe is a mother's embrace. Then it expands, right? It becomes a single room, then a house, a city block, then a whole country. Until, finally, we get our heads around the idea of our home, planet Earth. But that's just the starting line.
Because our Earth, our home, it's just one planet in what you could call our local neighborhood, the solar system. It's a family of 8 planets, every single one a totally unique world, all of them basically tethered to a single, pretty average star we call the Sun. So let's take a quick road trip through this cosmic village of ours. First up, you got Mercury. Man, this place is a planet of just brutal extremes. During the day, it's close enough to the Sun to literally melt lead. But then, because there's almost no atmosphere to hold on to that heat, the nighttime temperatures just plummet so low that a solid bar of iron would shatter just like glass. Wild.
Then we swing by Venus. You know, from far away, it looks all peaceful and cloudy, but it is an absolute furnace. It's wrapped up in these thick, toxic clouds forever, and the atmospheric pressure, get this, it's 90 times what we feel here on Earth. It would just crush you instantly. A truly nasty place.
And then there's us, home, Earth. And you look at these other worlds of fire and ice, and you realize our planet is this incredibly rare jewel, just perfectly balanced. We've got oceans of liquid water, an atmosphere that acts like a shield, and this absolute explosion of life everywhere you look. It is the one stunning, beautiful exception in our solar system.
Looking outward, there's Mars, the red planet. And yeah, it might look a little empty, but its geology is just staggering. We're talking volcanoes that are 3 times the height of Mount Everest, and cave systems so massive that you could fit an entire country inside of one. The scale is just mind-boggling.
Okay, now I need you to take a big step back with me. Our Sun, right? The center of our whole little world. It feels massive to us, but it's just one star among an estimated 100 billion other suns just in our own Milky Way galaxy. And here is where the numbers just start to break your brain. Our entire galaxy, with all those 100 billion suns, is just one galaxy among an estimated 100 billion other galaxies in the known universe. The numbers stop having any real meaning at that point, don't they? And way out there, at the very edge of everything we can see, you find things with power that's just unimaginable. Things like a quasar. It looks like a single point of light, but it's shining with the same energy as an entire galaxy. That's the light of 100 billion suns, all pouring out of one single object. Incredible! You know, when astronomers are trying to describe that absolute farthest limit of what we can see, they sometimes use this beautiful Latin term, Sidra Ultima, which means something like the ultimate boundary. And what's so fascinating is that this idea has an echo in the Quran, which uses the term Sidrat al-Muntaha, the lote tree of the farthest limit. Isn't that a strange and beautiful parallel? The same idea popping up in science and in ancient scripture.
So you have to step back and look at this impossibly huge structure, billions of galaxies, each with billions of suns, all floating in this vast emptiness, and you've got to ask the question, what's holding it all together? What's the invisible glue that keeps this whole thing from just flying apart?
Well, the answer is a force we know, but we maybe don't fully appreciate. Gravity. It's the master architect of the entire cosmos. It's what shapes stars, what binds galaxies together, and what will ultimately decide the fate of everything. The source material we're looking at has this really poetic name for it, calling it the divine grip, that invisible hand holding and shaping it all.
And you can see that grip working in the life of every single star. It all starts with gravity, right? It pulls these huge, cold clouds of dust and gas together tighter and tighter until the pressure ignites the core, and poof, a sun is born. And it burns for billions of years, but eventually the fuel starts to run low. And that same gravitational grip comes back to decide how it all ends.
And how a star dies isn't just random. It all comes down to one thing, how much mass it started with. The really massive stars, they live fast and they die young in these unbelievable supernova explosions. Sometimes they even collapse into a black hole, an actual tear in the fabric of space-time. But the less massive stars, like our Sun, they live a lot longer and they go out more quietly, maybe shrinking down into something like a pulsar. like a little cosmic lighthouse, flashing in the dark.
So, okay, the laws of physics, like gravity, they give us a pretty clear rulebook for how the universe works. But the source material for this explainer points out that there seem to be other patterns too, more mysterious ones woven into reality that are, well, a lot harder to explain.
For example, have you ever noticed the weird recurrence of the number 7? It just pops up everywhere, in places that don't seem connected at all. You got 7 colors in a rainbow, 7 notes in a musical scale, 7 days in the week. An atom has 7 electron shells, and a human baby is considered viable at 7 months. Is that all just a big coincidence? Or is it a hint that there's some deeper structure we're not seeing?
And it's not just in numbers, it's in language too. Take the ancient Arabic word for a hidden enclosed space, kaf. Thousands of miles away and thousands of years later, in English, we have the word cave, or the Arabic word kafar, which means to cover something up. In English, cover. It's pretty fascinating to see these echoes across time and culture.
So let's bring this all back. We've gone on this incredible journey from the unbelievably immense scale of the cosmos, and when you compare that to a single human being, well, we're infinitesimal. We're less than a speck of dust. But is that really the whole story? The source brings up this really powerful classic idea, this paradox. It says, you think you are a small body, but within you is folded the entire greater world.
And that's the great mystery, isn't it? That physically tiny, infinitesimal speck contains a mind. And that mind can wrap itself around the idea of galaxies 1 billion light-years away. It can think about eternity. It can actually discover and understand the very laws of physics that brought it into existence.
So the logical conclusion that's drawn from this paradox, well, it's a profound one. A being that can do all that, a being that can hold the entire cosmos inside its own consciousness. It just doesn't make sense that it would simply end, that it would just blink out of existence when the physical body fails.
Which leaves us right here with one last big question to think about. After this whole journey, from the tiniest part of ourselves to the farthest edge of space and all the way back again, you have to wonder, is death really an end, or could it just possibly be a new beginning?